Welcome, Giselle.
Buenas tardes, profe.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Are you?
I'm doing great too. So I'm calling the other students that have signed up for this meeting. I will call them again once more. And just in case, okay, Carlos Emilio is already with us. So as I was saying, I will call the others again to check if they are joining in the meeting. And just in case nobody else is coming, I will start with you both. Okay, guys?
Okay, teacher.
Okay. It seems to be that nobody else is coming to this meeting. So I will start with you both, guys. So first of all, welcome to this exam preparation class. This is a reading test preparation. For today, I know there's a lot of other teachers giving these classes, but I'm starting today. So for me, is my first day in this period. So some recommendations before we start. Remember that for these meetings, you have to keep your camera on, open your microphone to participate and interact with your peers and also with the tutor. Mm, and remember that these classes are being recorded because we have to keep an evidence of our work. And the most important is just enjoy the practice. Worry not about the mistakes. Worry not about mispronouncing something or maybe forgotten what is the meaning of something. Just relax and try to do your best. Even though this is exam preparation, we are not assessing anyone here, so you shouldn't be worried about it. So I kindly ask you, Giselle and Carlos, to open your camera, guys. I, I want
Uh,
to have a closer connection with you during this meeting.
one question, please.
Ame,
Yes. Is there one problem if I don't turn on the camera? Is that until now I am going to have lunch?
no, there's no problem, but just keep in mind that we are having this meeting through a screen, right? So if we want to keep it more closer to the others, to maybe get a connection between the students and teachers, it would be great if you have your camera on. You are about to have your lunch, so worry not about it, enjoy it, but you still have to be really attentive to what we're
Thank
doing here. Okay? So guys, for today we have um this is going to be our class steps, right? So we have here our to-do list. We are going to start with the greetings and introductions. Just right after that, we will be checking the grammar review for today's topic. And next, we will get immersed in the reading practice test. For today, I have brought two tests. They are quite short, so I will give you the opportunity to read it slowly with a lot of attention in order you can get and spot the right answers. Just right after each test, you are going to check your answers. Let's see how much points do you get in that. And right at the bottom of the lesson, I will give you the attendance form so you can have a register of your performance during this lesson. So going back to the first step, the greetings and introduction, I will let you know a little bit more about me. And then goes Carlos and finally Giselle. So as you already know, my name is Juliet Lozano. I am 31 years old. I'm getting old and old and old. I have been living in Puerto Boyacá, like have been living here since 2011, I think so. It's 2011, 2010, something like that. I'm currently working as a ESL teacher in a private institution here. This is not my first time in this space. I have been doing this like for 2 years and a half or something. Something really personal about me. I really, really, but really love sleeping. It's one of my best activities to do. But just because I suffer insomnia. So when I get the time to have a good sleep, I really enjoyed it. And the other one is I love knitting, doing crochet. That relaxing activity for me. Maybe for today, that's all I'm going to say about me. So I would like to hear Carlos. What about you?
My teacher and classmate, my name is Carlos Eveiro Tovar, and I'm 37 years old. I'm older than you. Eh, I'm military retired. Uh, this moment I'm working here in my house only uh, like a home wife because my wife is working and now I'm doing the household all time. Okay. I'm 37 years old. I'm military retired all the time. I have a big problem like you. I'm suffering insomnia too. All the
Okay,
time
sleepy.
and sleeping 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. For example, right now in this moment, I love a like a sleep cat. Is a good time. For example, 10, 15, 30 minutes is a good sleeping for me.
Yeah, I got you. Somebody to understand me. Actually, this day when the practice began, is a critical moment for all the students. You know, we don't get a good a relaxed moment. We are thinking all the time about the activities. We are worried about the time, worry about completing all the tasks in time. So you don't get a good sleep. That's horrible. Oh my God. I think I remember you from the last video. I think you told me, I don't remember if it was a grammar class or something similar, or maybe reading. But I remember you were in some of my classes last year. When you told me about you, you were retired, like I recalled you. Okay, it's good to see you again. It's good to see that you continue on the path of learning. Mm, and thank you so much, Carlos, for coming back and sharing your information with us. Now it's time for Giselle. So, Giselle, let us know about you, girl.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Gisela Andrea Garcia Valero. I'm 20 years old. In this moment, working the teacher. I live in Bogota City. Mm, eh, I like to read and sleep a lot, a lot, a lot. Y ya, ¿qué más te digo? Great.
Okay, okay. Maybe in the future you will let us know a little bit more about you. But now that we have already completed this part, we are moving into the grammar review. So we will have two sets of grammar review. The first one is about the present and the second one is about the past. When are we doing this? Every time before each test. So we are beginning with the present. So remember guys that when we are talking about present without the verb to be, we will need to use the auxiliary verb do. But something that we have to keep in mind is that we are only using this guy when we are talking in negatives and questions. We are not using it in the affirmative sentences. That's not happening. So just remember, if you're not talking about being someone, you will need to use the auxiliary do in that. So do is going to work with the pronouns I, we, you, and they. And thus is much easier because we are only using it with he, she, and it. So let's check an example here. We are using this auxiliary. So I do not play soccer and do you play soccer? So I have this auxiliary in negatives, in questions. Keep in mind that in negatives, the auxiliary verb is going to be put just right after the pronoun. But when we are making questions, we switch places and we have to put the auxiliary verb at the beginning and next the personal pronoun or the person we are talking about. And the same situation happens when we are talking about the third person. So if we are talking about he, she, or it, this time we need to use the conjugated auxiliary using does, but the structure remains the same. So at the beginning we have subject plus auxiliary in negative sentences and auxiliary plus subject in questions. Something else to keep in mind when using the simple present is the verb conjugation. So we know that there are some verbs that changes when we are using the third person, but remind guys that it only happens in affirmative sentences. We are not applying this rule in negatives and questions. It doesn't work. And the reason for this is because in the negatives and the questions, we are using the auxiliary. So the auxiliary itself, it already has the conjugation. So that's why we are not like adding again the conjugation in the verb. So the first rule is adding IES to the verbs that end with consonant plus Y. For instance, the verb try. If I want to say that she try something, I must apply the rule and change this Y into IES. The second rule is, add an ES when the verbs end in SS, SH, CH, X, O, and Z. For instance, if I want to say it was, I will need to add the rule and add ES. And the last one is the simplest one, If my verb doesn't following all these other rules, I just will add an S. For instance, he jumps. It doesn't follow any of these rules, so I just need to add an S. Here's some more examples on how to apply the rules. Just keep in mind that this is only in the affirmative sentences in the present. But when and why do I use the simple present? So the main reason is we're talking about our habits. So I usually write, I never exercise, or sometimes I eat chocolate. Those things that are repetitive in our lives that we are doing with certain frequency. The other reason is when we are expressing general facts. Sorry. Like something that is always true. For instance, when we talk about the sun rising, the sun always rises from the east and always go down for the west. That's a general truth. Another example could be the water. Water boils at 100 degrees. And the third one is permanent situations. For instance, the bus station. They always have like the same time schedule for departures. So there are situations that always happen the same, they remain the same. So an example could be like buses start at 5, start route at 5 a.m. Just to give an example. This is a general situations. They are always follow this schedule, and that's why we are using the simple present. Now that we have already made a really quick review about the simple present, it's time to read. So you guys will take turns reading. The topic for these reading passages is our free time activities. So you will read about some people describing their free time activities, and you at the end will have to pick the correct answer. So before moving to that, I want to share with you a really good strategy when you are taking a reading test. So when you are doing this kind of test, it's a good idea to read first the questions so you can get like a clue of what do you need to try to find inside the test. So I will give you guys 2 minutes to check on these questions. And then we are moving into the reading part. Okay, time's over. Now it's time for you to start to read. So please, Carlos, start reading this first part. Are you there, Carlos?
Yes, teacher, but I have a problem because I don't find my my pen. I don't
Okay.
take a I don't take a note the last slice.
Oh, okay, okay. Worry not. You will have an other opportunity just when we are finished with the reading, okay?
Okay.
So please start reading this one.
I have been a member of the school cooking club since I was 10. I best know as a brilliant cake maker. Last year, I made 1,000 cupcakes for cousins for my cousin's 18th birthday party, and everyone said they were delicious. Cooking is only expensive. If you buy unusual food, like a chesney vegetable that you can find in a supermarket, I did this and made a special dinner for my dad when she was 50.
Okay, good job. Just to keep in mind that if we see something like this, we are not pronouncing the whole word. So instead of saying I have, just say I've with an F at the end because this is contracted, right? So we don't need to say the full form. Okay, thank you. Let's continue with Giselle.
Mm. Deepak. When I was younger, I became interested in photography when my uncle let me take photos on his big digital camera. I um I got my own camera new. I saved my pocket money for a year to buy it, and it's fantastic. I love taking photos of people playing sports. It is really difficult to catch them on the right moment, so I take several photos that head teachers head teachers has asked me to take the photos at the school fashion show, which will be fun.
Okay, so just pay attention to this one. Now it's easy
Oh,
to
now,
it's easy
hmm?
to confuse this word with new, right?
New, yes,
Okay, so something that's funny about words ending with OW is that they have two different sounds. Like sometimes it says ow, like in cow, right? Or now. And sometimes it says oh, like in low, low. So when you have this OW ending, you might find these two different sounds. Okay, let's check what is the last one. Romeo. So please, Carlos, please read it.
Okay, Romeo. My aunt works for a fashion magazine and wears really cool clothes. I'm different to most boys because I love making clothes for me and my sister, so I want to study fashion a colleague. I already got some experience for of the fashion world. With my aunt's help, I won a competition to help get the clothes ready when a famous American photographer can take photo of model wearing winter clothes. It was a really interesting day and I could earn some money.
Good job. So just pay attention to this one. Clothes. We are not pronouncing the E in this word, okay? It's like silent. Clothes. Okay, so guys, we have three stories. Romeo is all about fashion, clothes, and just creating, wearing for people. He also went into a competition that was interesting and he earned some money. When it comes to Deepak, he got interested in photography and his uncle gave him a digital camera that was really big and he saved money for a year. And then we have Lei Wei. So she was like in a school cooking club since she was 10. She had made 100 cupcakes and she thinks like cooking shouldn't be that expensive. So with those clues, you have to try to find out what is the correct answer. So what I want now is for you guys to put down your answers in the chat. In a few minutes, I will show you what are the correct ones. So let's take like maybe 2 minutes to put your answers in the chat, guys. Okay, I see Giselle is writing down her answers. Meanwhile, I've been reading some questions. So the first one says, who got some help with their hobby from a family member. The second say who had success with something they did for their family, who used their own money to get something they needed to do their hobby. Whose hobby could be what they choose to learn about in the future. Whose hobby has allowed them to do some paid work, in whose hobby sometimes costs them a lot of money, in whose hobby is sometimes hard to do well. Okay, I see your answers, guys, in the chat. I will show you. I will show you the answers so you can compare. So the first one is C. Oh, guys, do you remember that Romeo and his aunt were like doing clothes? The second one, worry not. The second one was A. You both got the correct one. The third was B. Okay. The fourth C. Okay. Five C. Okay. Carlos, well done. 6A and 7B. So Carlos got more correct answers than Giselle. That's a good try, Giselle. A good try. So, guys, let's move into the second part. So this time we are checking the grammar of past simple. This is really easy because we have some like advantages, right? So we only have one auxiliary. It means that we are using this auxiliary for all the pronouns. So it doesn't matter if it's I, he, she, it, we, you, or they. We are using the same auxiliary verb. In the simple past, we are going to use it in the same situations like in the present, only for negative and questions. In the affirmative form, I don't use the auxiliary verb. So here we have some examples. He didn't do his homework. Did they come to the party? For these kind of questions that start with this auxiliary, remember that we have short answers. So if just in case the answer is yes, the correct way to do it is like this. Yes, they did. So our short answer always have the same auxiliary that we used in the question. So if I can use the verb in past in negative and questions, I need to use it in affirmative sentences. So it's the same like in the present. Only in affirmative we are using the rule. For instance, with this sentence, she went to the competition. If you take a short view in the last slide, we didn't use the verbs in past. We use them in the present because we already have the auxiliary. And I like to think about it like if the auxiliary is taking the whole protagonism in the sentence, right? He says like, you know, I'm the guy in the past. You don't need to use the past. You can keep it relaxed. I will do the job, right? That's what happens when we have this auxiliary. So it doesn't let the verb do his work in negatives and questions, so it only has the opportunity to do it in affirmative sentences. Something about the past is that we have to keep in mind the verbs can be put in two big groups, regular and irregular verbs. So the regular ones are those that you only need to add ed or d at the end of the verb. For instance, kiss. This is the present. In the past, it would be kissed, right? I don't know, jump. In the past, jumped. But it doesn't happen the same with irregular verbs. So those verbs can be classified in three main groups. So you have group one. Those are the verbs that are always the same, no matter if you are talking in present, in past, or past participle. Next, we have group two. So here, with those verbs, we only get one shift, there's only one change. The present and the past participle remain the same, but the past simple change. And the last group is that one when the verb is always changing. So we have see, so, and see. So this is a good strategy to start memorizing the verbs just by classifying them, So I can start with verbs in the group one because they are quite easy. They are always the same, no matter the time. Then I level it up, starting the verbs that have one change. And just at the end, I can start like memorizing those verbs that are changing in all the times. Let's see what's next. So we have, why do we use the simple past? So this is the main use. We are using it to talk about completed actions in the past. So they are no longer true in your present. For instance, I could say that maybe in this moment of my life, I ate an ice cream, but I'm not doing this anymore in my present. So this is a completed action. When I'm also using the simple past is when I'm narrating a sequence of past events. So maybe earlier in the morning, I ate, I don't know, an apple could be. And later I ate an ice cream. And later on, I just, I don't know, went to sleep. And also, we are using the past to describe current and true situations. So this is common when we are talking about, when we are using conditions, right? So just right after this quick review about the simple past, it's time to let you know the questions for the second test. So give it a look to these questions. Try to figure out what do you need to find in each paragraph. And then we are moving into the questions. I will give you guys 2 minutes to check the questions. Okay, so I think it's the time to start the reading. I hope you have like take the clue about what we could find in the reading part. So please, Giselle, start reading this one.
Okay, Alice. Our class has just won a prize in cooking competition, and we are going to be on the local TV news. Tonight, the judges liked our pizzas because they were delicious, and we also made pasta with sauce and dessert for the children in our school for lunch yesterday. Our teacher is married to a chef who helped us as with our main course. We are planning to bake some cakes tomorrow and sell them. We want to get enough money to pay for a school trip.
Okay, so judges.
Okay, judges.
Okay, perfect. Let's continue. Carlos, please.
Okay. Our class teacher heard about the cooking competition in the local TV news and told us about it. We decided to enter and won second prize. We made rice and vegetable, lemonade and dessert for our parents. We turned the school hall into a restaurant for one evening. ¿Se puede mover un puntico, el puntico negro de ahí? Our prize is a visit to the kitchens of a famous restaurant in our city. Gigi's, my cousin works there and well, there and she say the food is amazing.
Excellent, good job. Please continue, Giselle. Giselle, are you there?
Thank you. Jenny. The food our class made for the cooking competition was amazing. We baked a lot of cakes, chocolate, or lemon, and fruit. We also used vegetables from the school to make sticks with vegetables salad. And for the class below us and every on site, it was fantastic. It was interesting. We learned a lot about food. We want to freeze for our cakes and took them to a for all people or school.
Okay. So here's a tip when we are reading. We find a lot of works with this pattern. Like, yeah, this one too. Mm, This one. Okay. Please close your microphone, Carlos. Thank you. So something that will help you to read a little bit more is remember this pattern. Sometimes we have words that have a vowel, a consonant, and at the end you find an E. When you word have this pattern, the E becomes silent. So it means that you're not going to pronounce it. But the vowel before that is going to make the long sound. So you know, vowels have long sound and short sound. But when we have this pattern, we are not making the short one, only the long. So the words will sound like this. Made. I'm not pronouncing this. Bake. I'm not pronouncing this. Cake. Not pronouncing this. Orange. Not pronouncing the E. And prize. Home. So every time you see this same pattern, remember that the E becomes silent. You're not going to pronounce it. And the last vowel is going to make the long sound. Now let's move into the questions part. This time I want to make it different. So I will ask for the answers and you will tell what you think is the correct one. So, Carlos, what do you think is the correct one for the first question?
Okay. A? Oh, is that? Yeah, this.
This one?
No, A, A.
Ah, okay. Sorry, my bad. Okay. Um, Giselle, what do you think is the answer for question number 2?
C.
Okay. Carlos, question number 3.
C.
Giselle, question number 4.
This is I don't know this A or C.
Pick one.
C.
Sí, okay. Carlos,
C too.
sorry, can you repeat?
C.
Oh, there's a lot of C's. Giselle, number 6.
Is B.
B, okay. And the last one, Carlos. A, okay.
La respuesta del 5, yo le digo la respuesta del 6.
Okay, drum solo. Let's check what are the correct answers. Oh my God. So here we have the first one was C. Oh my God, guys. The correct one in the first was C. In the second was B. This is okay. The fourth one was B. The fifth A. This was C and A. My God, we only got 2 correct answers.
Yeah, my mistake. I confused in the answer. B, the answer 5 and 6. I don't check in good in my notes. I'm
Ah,
giving you the six answer in the five question. This is my
okay,
mistake.
okay.
Remember any the red, the orange, I don't remember the name. This is Eva or Jenny.
Ah, okay, you weren't
Oh,
aware of the names. Okay, worry not. Remember that the best part is that this is just practice, so you can be relaxed for that part. Okay, guys, just to make a short reminder, keep in mind that if you are making a reading test, it's good for you to go first and read the questions. Read the questions because you might find some clues in the questions and will help you to comprehend better all the paragraphs. This is a good option. Another option is to make a quick reading. So in this quick reading, you're not gonna read the paragraph as a whole. So you're going to start like it's like making a glance, making so far a really fast reading just to try to spot the main topic of the paragraph. Just right after you have done this quick reading, you go to the reading question part and then go back to the whole read. This is a maybe full steps strategy, but will help you to recall the information you already read. Tell me, Emiro, Carlos. Tell me, Carlos.
Okay, teacher. This is a good advice because maybe the last week I took a test from the pre-practice of the university.
Yeah.
I never took tests like that because it's so different for me. Maybe I'm learning English on my own. I never had a teacher like this in this case, or like you, for example. I only learn it by my own. It's a big problem for me. I don't like to write it. And when took that test, I didn't do the answer because I'm a little confused. But I quedé mejor dicho bloqueado, no supe qué hacer.
Okay, okay. Worry not, that might happen. But, as you are learning by yourself, it's good for you to make a research on what are the good strategies to improve your learning. So something that I used to do is like set a schedule. We have the whole week. Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado. So we are not going to study the same all days. Instead of that, I would choose studying grammar on Mondays. Maybe vocabulary on Tuesdays. Improve my speaking on Wednesdays. Try to set a schedule in order you are improving step by steps, but constantly, all days, not skip any day of the week. In that way, you will get more fluency, get more vocabulary, master your grammar. And something that you also should keep in mind, this is a long process. We are not going to improve overnight. No vamos a mejorar de la noche a la mañana. It only happens with really hard work and commitment. So we need to study all days, all days. It doesn't matter if you are getting a bit to study or tons of study. The important thing is just keep studying every day. And we as teachers, we have to study until the last of our days. We have to continue learning year by year. So I hope these strategies will help you for the future. And I also hope you have enjoyed in practicing in this hour, but our time is running out. So, guys, I just have to say thank you for coming. I really appreciate Carlos for coming back here. And I hope Giselle had a great moment, had a good experience practicing, and come back again too. So, if you have any suggestion, something to say about this meeting, I'm all ears. You can say whatever you want. Maybe you have a good suggestion for an improvement in the future, and I will apply it in the future classes. For the meantime, I will share with you the link to the attendance form, and that will be all for today.
Okay, teacher, thank you so much. I think it's a good class for me because I need to improve my exam preparation because I thinking in giving out my career because I think to take a test I don't prepare to get a good grade, for example C1. It's hard for me. Indeed, I think I speaking well because I have as on experience in the past speaking with American soldier or the different soldiers that are speaking in a native language, But for me, it's so difficult to get good grades in the exam because I don't like to writing. I only speaking and listening well, but in my writing skill, I so bad.
Okay, but I you have to try hard because sometimes we don't like some things, but we have to do them, right? So just try hard. I can share with you the link of a website that I really like. It is Test English. In this website, you're going to find many topics from level 1 to B2. And you can have some like try to practice with some tests. Just let me share the screen a moment with you guys, and also I will finish the recording.